We'll wait for Kenny to get his guitar, and then we'll officially start. Shabbat Shalom. I think we're ready now, almost.
How long does the baby brain excuse work? A month?
Long time.
I'm still in it. Shabbat Shalom. Great to see you all with us. We'll begin our service this evening with a Yai Lai Lai melody, a nigun. I invite you to join me in singing. Ya la 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 lai lai lai, ya la 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 lai lai lai, ya la 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 lai lai lai, ya lai la lai, ya la 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 lai lai lai, ya la 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 lai lai lai, ya la 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 lai lai lai, ya la lai. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shalom.
Welcome. We are thrilled to have you joining us here in person, and we welcome those of you who are joining us via our live stream this evening. It is wonderful to bring in and welcome in Shabbat together. This month marks the beginning of Pride Month, where we honor and celebrate those who are a part of the LGBTQ plus community. And it's an opportunity for us to show our support and to honor and recognize that we are an affirming and welcoming community. And the way that we do that is by offering words and prayers and blessings and thinking about the ways that we continue to welcome those in who may feel like they are on the margins at times. So throughout our Shabbat service, we will offer some words of blessing. We'll talk a little bit in my teaching later about how we can think about Torah and words of blessing that come in our Torah portion this week and how that might relate to our LGBTQ plus community. So we will add a little bit of extra light to our world tonight by lighting our Shabbat candles on page 2.
Please join me in singing. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu להדליק נר של שבת.
We welcome each other with words that come from the book of Psalms, Hine ma tov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad, how good and sweet it is to be together. We find that on the top of page 10.
הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד.
We'll turn to page 14, the bottom of the page. The words Or Zarua Lat Tzadik Yishrei Lev Zimcha. Light is sown for the righteous, radiance for the upright.
Or Zarua Lat Tzadik Yishrei Lev Zimcha. Zarua Lat Tzadik Yishrei Lev Simcha. Or Zarua Lat Tzadik Yishrei Lev Simcha. Yishrei Lev Simcha. Or Zarua Lat Tzadik Yishrei Lev Simcha. Lev Simcha. Or Zarua Lat Tzadik Yishrei Lev Simcha.
Sometimes we think about our world in the binary, in the black and whites. And the beauty of Judaism and the beauty of thinking about God is that there isn't black and white. There isn't this idea of the binary in the same way that we often think about it in the way that we organize our worlds. In our L'Chadodi prayer, we talk about this idea of God, of welcoming Shabbat, of welcoming a Sabbath bride. And in fact, on Shabbat, and we think about this combining of the Shekhinah, the feminine aspects of God, and the masculine aspects of God, and them blending all together in one. So when we sing these words of L'Chadodi, we think about that blending, the combination, the fullness of the experience of God, combining both these masculine and feminine qualities. We'll continue on page 20 with the words of L'Chadodi as we welcome in Shabbat, this idea of welcoming our beloved.
L'Chadodi likrat kala penei Shabbat mikabela. L'Chadodi likrat kala penei Shabbat mikabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad yishmi'anu el hameyuchad. Adonai echad u'shemo echad l'shemo tiferet v'litchila. L'Chadodi likrat kala penei Shabbat mikabela. L'Chadodi kala peni Shabbat nekabela likrat Shabbat lechu venelcha ki hi mekor haberacha meros mekedem nesucha sof ma'aseh b'machshava techila lecha dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat nekabela lecha dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat nekabela. Page 21 at the bottom, verse 9. Boi v'shalom ateret bala gam besimcha uvtzohola toch emunei am segula boi chala Shabbat nekabela.
I'd like to share with you a blessing for Pride Month. This is found in Mishkan Ga'ava, Where Pride Dwells, a celebration of LGBTQ Jewish life and ritual. Mekor HaChaim, source of life, you have blessed each of us with your spirit. In your wisdom, you have made each of us a unique treasure. Mayan Chayinu, wellspring of our lives, cause us to flow with courage, strength, and compassion, to live our stories openly, proudly, and joyfully. Shekhinah Shel Ahava, presence of love. You embrace us with your love. May we embrace ourselves, our partners, our lovers, our friends, our children, our dear ones, with the power of your Ahava Rabbah, your unending, boundless love. Ruach HaShalom, spirit of peace and wholeness, open our eyes to the gifts and blessings we offer and receive from each other. Open our hearts to welcome each other fully and truly. Open our hands to embrace, to support, to lift each other. With joy, with song, and with deep friendship. Today, as we celebrate renewal, pride, and community, let us walk together with strength, compassion, and love. We bless you, wellspring of our lives. May you fill us with joy and sanctity. In a moment, we will continue with the words of our Baruch Hu, the words that welcome us into this sacred community. I'll invite you now to turn to someone that is around you to wish them Shabbat Shalom, and then you may rise on page 28, the words of Baruch Hu. Page 28, you may rise in body or spirit.
Are you listening to my prayer? Can you hear my voice? Can you understand? Am I awake? Am I prepared? Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam va'ed, Le'olam va'ed. Yalalai lai lai, 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 yalalai lai lai.
You may be seated. We'll continue on page 30, our prayer of the creation of the evening. If you look down, I believe it's about 9 lines in the middle of the Hebrew and also in the middle of the English. Golel or mipnei choshech v'choshech mipnei or. You are the creator of day and night, the one who rolls darkness, light into darkness, and darkness to light.
You are creator of day and night, rolling light into darkness and darkness to light. You are creator of day and night, rolling light into darkness and darkness to light. Golel or mipnei choshech v'choshech mipnei or. Yalalai lai lai, 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 yalalai lai lai.
We'll continue on page 34, Shema Yisrael, the declaration that God is one.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Le'olam va'ed. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Le'olam va'ed. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
We'll chant together on page 36 the words of Ve'ahavta. You shall love Adonai your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your might.
Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha bechol levavcha ubechol nafshecha ubechol me'odecha ve'hayu hadevarim ha'ele asher anochi metzavecha hayom al levavecha ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בהם, בשבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
We'll read together in the middle of page 39. In a world torn by violence and pain, a world far from wholeness and peace, give us the courage to say, Adonai, there is one God in heaven and earth. The high heavens declare your glory. May earth reveal your justice and love. From bondage in Egypt we were delivered. At Sinai we bound ourselves to your way. Inspired by prophets and instructed by sages, time and again we overcame oppressive forces. Though our failings are many and our faults are great, it has been our glory to bear witness to our God, keeping alive in dark ages your vision of a world redeemed. Let us continue to work for the day when the nations will be one and at peace. Then shall we rejoice as Israel did, singing on the shores of the sea. We'll continue on page 40 with our song of hope, redemption, and freedom, Mi Chamocha.
Yai lai 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 la lai 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 la lai. Yai lai 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 la lai la lai lai. Yai lai 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 la lai. Yai lai 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 la lai la lai. Mi chamocha ba'edim Adonai, mi kamocha neder b'kodesh, nora tehilot osefele, nora tehilot osefele. Malchutecha ra'u v'necha, bokei hayam livnei Moshe u'Miriam, ze Elianu ve'ameru, ze Elianu ve'ameru. Adonai yimloch le'olam le'olam va'ed. Adonai yimloch le'olam le'olam va'ed.
It's customary that every evening we offer the words of Hashkivenu, where we pray for peace for all those who in our community and throughout our worlds. And when there is such a feeling in our community, whether it be personal, communal, or even broader into our entire world, that there is a sense of a lack of safety, whether it might be safety around our religious views or practices, safely around who we are meant to be or who we are meant to love. We think of all those and all who are among us in our community who are in need of that sense of peace, that sense of safety among our community. And we pray that a Sukkot Shalom, a shelter of peace, will be spread over all of us in the entire world. We'll continue on page 42 with Hashkivenu.
Baruch atah Adonai haborei Sukkot Shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael. Baruch atah Adonai haborei Sukkot Shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael. Ve'al Yerushalayim ve'al kol amo. Ve'al Yerushalayim Shalom. Ve'al Yerushalayim ve'al kol amo. Ve'al Yerushalayim Shalom. Baruch atah Adonai haborei Sukkot Shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael.
On page 46, we will rise in body or spirit for our Amidah, our tefillah.
Adonai, sefatai tiftach ufi agi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise.
Page 48.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, ve'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor ve'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Ve'koneh HaKol, Ve'zocher Chazdei Avot V'imachot, Umevi Gehula Livnei V'neihem, Lema'an Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshia U'Magin, Baruch atah Adonai, Magin Avraham, Ve'ezrat Sarah.
In the middle of page 52. You are holy, your name is holy, and those who are holy praise you every day. Blessed are you, Adonai, the holy God. Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh. You may be seated. On the top of page 55. Please join with me. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat. We'll pause now for a moment of our own silent meditation and reflection. We'll join together again on page 62.
At the bottom of page 62, the words of Oseh Shalom, our prayer for peace. Oseh Shalom bimromav, Hu yaseh Shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, ve'imru Amen. Oseh Shalom bimromav, Hu yaseh Shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, ve'imru Shalom bimromav, Hu yaseh Shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, ve'imru. Amen.
We turn now to words of blessing. Blessing for those who are in need of healing. whether it be healing of the mind, of the body, or of the spirits. I'll invite you now, if you're thinking of someone and you would like to share their name aloud, you may do so now. We'll join together on page 253 to offer these words of blessing, our prayer for healing.
Yishabeirach Avoteinu Mikor habracha limotenu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mishabeirach imotenu mikor habracha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
So this week's Torah portion may be different depending on whether you live in Israel or the diaspora, or which community you belong to in our diaspora communities. This week we are reading Parashat Naso. Actually, it's split into two. Parashat Naso, the second part, which contains our priestly benediction, or our priestly blessing. And in the section of Torah where we're at right now, we're in the book of Numbers, and the Israelites, as you know, have journeyed their way out of slavery, out of Egypt, still in Egypt, into freedom. And they are figuring out how to become a community, how to become a nation. And it's in this figuring out how to become a community that these words of blessing are taught to Aaron and Moses to then relay and speak to the community on behalf of God. The blessing, as you may know, goes, Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha, may God bless you and keep you. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chunecha, may God's light shine upon you and be gracious to you. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May you feel God's presence within you always, and may you find peace. Now, this 3-line benediction or blessing can be translated in many different ways. A maybe more traditional blessing might say, may the Lord bless you and protect you. Or may God deal kindly and graciously to you. May God bestow divine favor upon you and grant you peace. So maybe in those few different versions of the English translation of the blessing, you might have heard some distinct differences in the way the blessing was translated. I want to draw our attention to two pieces of this blessing. The second line begins, Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chunecha. We translate this as, may God's face shine upon you and be gracious to you. What's interesting is what does "may God's face shine upon you and be gracious to you" actually mean? What is this idea of Ya'er Adonai panav elecha? What does it mean for God's light or face to shine upon you, to shine upon us? And the last piece is be gracious to us. So what does it mean to have God's face shine upon us? Does God have a face? Is this completely metaphorical? Maybe. But we talk a lot about, and the third line also has that same structure with a different first word. Yisa Adonai panav elecha. May you feel God's presence, or may God's face be lifted up upon you, and may you find peace. So we hear these two very similar lines in the Hebrew with two different meanings. And so let's take a look at what some of the commentators say about these two lines of the blessing. What does it mean for God's face to shine upon us? What does it mean for God's face to be lifted up upon us? So Rashi, a medieval commentator, says this idea of Ya'er, which means to illumine or light. This line of the blessing, according to Rashi, means may God show you a friendly countenance or a friendly face, a beaming countenance or a beaming face. So this seems a little bit different than what we heard in the translation, right? This idea of God's face shining upon you. Well, what does it mean according to Rashi? It means a friendly face, that we see this beaming presence. Another commentator says that it means that God's face shining upon you is when you ask something of God, that you make a request, that God will accept it, and then be able to immediately fulfill that request. So you're literally face to face, and your kind of wants and needs are being illuminated before God. So what does this third line mean? Yisa Adonai panav elecha. Yisa means to lift up. What does it mean for God's face to be lifted up upon us or before us? So another medieval commentator, Ibn Ezra, says it is the reverse of a verse that comes from the book of Isaiah. I will hide my eyes from you. Instead, this means wherever you go, my face will be lifted upon you. So instead of God hiding God's face from us, instead, God's face will be present. God will be looking out upon us, or maybe looking out for us. So, Ya'er Adonai panav elecha, Yisa Adonai panav elecha. God's light shines upon us, God's face shines upon us, and God's face is lifted up upon us. So what do these two lines of the blessing actually mean? What does it mean to have God's face shine upon us? What does it mean to have God's face lifted up upon us? We know that in the Torah that Moses is unable to see God's face. Moses, in fact, begs to see God, and we know according to the Torah that Moses only sees the presence of God. And the word that is used in Hebrew is actually the presence of God uses the same root of this word, panav, similar to the Yiddish punim, right, a face, is also used. So we're not able to see God's face. Moses isn't able to see God's face in the Torah. So what does it mean for God's face to shine upon us or be lifted upon us? So one of my interpretations of this blessing is that each of us are created B'Tselem Elohim in the image of God, meaning each of us has a divine piece or a divine spark within us. So when I hear this blessing, I think about what it means for a human to offer this blessing to another human, which I have the honor of doing many times throughout my work, is offering this blessing to others. And when I think about this idea of what it means to shine our face upon someone else, is that we see in another person the reflection of God, and they see in us the reflection of God as well. And we see in each other our divine-like or our God-like qualities. So when I think about this idea of what it means to have God's face shine upon us or be lifted up to us, we are actually shining our light upon others, and others are shining their light upon us. And we are actually looking at other people and lifting our eyes to see the world around us, to see all those who dwell among us in our community, to listen to them, to see them, to support them. That, to me, is the beauty of this blessing, that each of us embody this piece of God, and that each of us, in hearing and offering these words of blessing, can provide that light, can provide that opportunity to see one another face to face. Shabbat Shalom. We'll continue with words that come from a composer, a modern composer, that we sing often her words and music that is set to our liturgy. We often sing her Hine Matov, her Micha Mocha, other versions of her music that is set to our Shabbat and everyday liturgy. She also created this beautiful song called I Have a Voice. My voice is powerful. My voice can change the world. This idea that each of us, in seeing the godliness in each of us and each other, can help change our world.
I have a voice, my voice is powerful. My voice can change the world. I have a voice, my voice is powerful. My voice can change the world. I will open my eyes, I will not look away. I will use this gift I've been given every day. I have a voice, my voice is powerful. My voice can change the world. I have a voice, my voice is powerful. My voice can change the world. I will give of myself, I will reach out my hand. I will use this heart I've been given and take a stand. I have a voice, my voice is powerful. My voice can change the world. I have a voice, my voice is powerful. My voice can change the world. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asanu b'tzelem Elohim. I will fight for the truth. I'll stand up for what's right. I will use this strength I've been given and be a light. I have a voice, my voice is powerful. My voice can change the world. I have a voice, my voice is powerful. My voice can change the world. My voice can change the world. My voice can change the world.
We'll turn to our concluding prayers, page 282, Aleinu l'shabeach. You may rise in body or spirit.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שהוא נוטה שמיים ועושה ארץ, ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינתו זו בגובה מרומים, הוא אלוהינו אין עוד. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא.
Page 287.
ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
Page 293. Our thoughts turn to those who have departed this earth, our own loved ones, those whom our friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people whose graves are unmarked, and those of every race and nation whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. As we remember them, we meditate on the meaning of love and loss, of life and death. Tonight, the Sukkot Shalom community remembers Mina Sor, Elaine Levin, Lenora Burkowski, Marvin Joseph Hoffing, Miriam Cohn, John Ross, Sharon Hoy, Alma Levy, John Wetzler Adler, Myrtle Chill, Ruth Rappaport, Sylvia Trilling, Gwen Knapp, Esther Knapp, Barbara K. Feld, Sheldon Lavin, Shirley Slomowitz, Rachel Denton, Newton Minnow. Are there any other names that you would like to recall at this time? We turn to the words of Mourner's Kaddish, Katish Yatom, page 294. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, ba'alma divrach yurtei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'v'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mivarach le'olam l'nei almaya, Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalel, shemei d'kudashah b'rechu, leila min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechamata, da'amiram b'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama Rabbah min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Osei shalom b'mromav, Hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. Zichronam livracha, may their memories be an abiding blessing.
Oseh shalom b'mromav, Hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'yimeru, amen.
You may be seated. Just a few announcements and reminders. I hope that you will join us next week if you are able on June 9th for Shabbat. It will be my last Friday night Shabbat service here at Sukkot Shalom as one of your rabbis. So I hope you will join us for that service. It'll be in the garden at First Presbyterian Church of Wilmette on 9th Street. We invite you to come sign up so you can stay for dinner after if you would like, and bring a folding chair to sit in, please. On Wednesday, June 14th, Women's Connections will be having a mixology mocktail class. So we hope you'll join us for that at 7 p.m. After services, please join us in the foyer for a quick kiddush and motzi and a little oneg.
We'll end our service with the words of the priestly benediction after Rabbi Daniel's teaching this evening. I invite you to put your arms around the people you came in with. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Yivarechecha Adonai ve'yishmerecha. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'yichunecha. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat shalom.